Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to step way back in time right now. We are exploring a classic textbook poem by the absolute legend Robert Louis Stevenson, and it perfectly captures the pure, unfiltered magic of a child's mind. You know, we talk so much about the complexity of the adult world, but today we're looking at something profoundly simple, yet incredibly powerful, the unseen companions of our youth.
So, think back for a second. Have you ever imagined a friend or a character who wasn't real but felt entirely real to you? What were they like? Did they have a name? Did they go on these wild adventures with you in your backyard? Or maybe just the living room? Take a moment and really reach back into your own childhood memories. It's highly personal, it's incredibly nostalgic, and for so many of us, it's this universal shared experience that we just rarely think about as adults.
Okay, let's dive into this. The textbook page we're analyzing begins with a pretty brilliant, straightforward philosophical premise. Childhood is completely defined by an absolute abundance of imagination. It's a time when that boundary between the real and the fantastical is just beautifully blurred. But in adulthood, well, we tend to lose that incredible superpower as we get older, don't we? We trade our imaginary friends for schedules, responsibilities, and, stark realities. Stevenson's work is a gorgeous tribute to that fleeting, abundant imagination before it fades away.
And here is the beautiful original source material that grounds our explainer today. Stevenson's poem, The Unseen Playmate, is laid out right alongside these incredibly vibrant, charming illustrations. Look at them. The kids are on a swing, they're running through the grass, playing with toy soldiers. The visuals just perfectly complement Stevenson's tribute. Notice how joyful the imagery is, right? It sets the stage for a poem that absolutely isn't about spooky invisible entities, but rather about a child who is perfectly happy, content, and creatively engaged, just playing all by themselves.
Section 1. The magic of imagination and when the playmate appears.
Stevenson actually gives us the exact recipe for this magic. He writes, "When children are happy and lonely and good, the friend of the children comes out of the wood." So the child has to be happy and lonely. And by lonely, he really means playing independently on the green, completely content in that solitude. Oh, and they must be good. This really frames the unseen entity not as some mischievous poltergeist, but as a deeply positive, comforting presence. It's almost like a reward for peaceful, imaginative, solitary play.
Moving on to Section 2. Meet the unseen playmate, a picture you never could draw.
Now, what's really interesting here is how Stevenson emphasizes the absolute formlessness of this playmate. He says, nobody heard him and nobody saw. His is a picture you never could draw. I mean, think about that. You literally cannot capture him on paper. He is entirely conceptual, existing solely in the theater of the child's mind. And yet, despite being completely invisible and silent to the outside world, the poem assures us he is faithfully present. Whether the child is hanging out at home or traveling abroad, as long as they're happy and playing alone, this undrawable friend is right there with them.
Section 3. The playmate's unique traits and inhabiting the world of play.
So Stevenson gives this invisible friend some incredibly specific, dynamic traits. He lies in the laurels and runs on the grass, showing he's deeply connected to nature and the outdoors. He sings when you tinkle the musical glass, literally interacting with the child's sensory world. And my favorite part? When the child plays with tin soldiers, the unseen playmate sides with the Frenchman and never can win. It's such a beautifully specific, kind of humorous historical detail. It perfectly captures those complex rules and wild narratives kids invent during pretend play. Let's focus closely on this specific quote for a second. He loves to be little, he hates to be big, 'tis he that inhabits the caves that you dig. This is just sheer brilliance on the author's part. Stevenson observes that the imaginary friend purposefully shrinks down. He doesn't tower over the child like an adult does. He scales himself perfectly to fit right into the miniature world of childhood. When a kid digs a tiny dirt cave in the backyard, the unseen playmate is the one who goes inside and inhabits it. It really shows how imagination bridges the gap between the physical limits of the real world and the limitless scale of the mind.
Section 4. Guardian of the playthings, a comforting nighttime presence.
As the day winds down, the high energy of daytime play naturally fades into the quiet of bedtime. The poem says, "'Tis he, when at night you go off to your bed, bids you go to sleep and not trouble your head." So, the playmate transitions from a daytime companion in the garden to a nocturnal guardian right in the bedroom. He offers the ultimate comfort to a tired child. He essentially tells them, "Hey, I've got this. Rest. Don't worry about a thing." It really highlights the psychological function of the imaginary friend, It provides this profound sense of security and emotional regulation for a child who is navigating that transition into the very vulnerable state of sleep.
And here is the poem's incredibly soothing conclusion, summarized. While the child sleeps safely, the unseen playmate actually stays awake. He takes on the very serious, highly important responsibility of watching over all the toys, the tin soldiers, the musical glass, wherever they are lying on the cupboard or shelf. This imaginary friend becomes the caretaker of the child's most prized possessions, making sure the magic world of play is totally safe and ready for them the second they wake up the next morning.
Which brings us to a final, lingering thought. Do we ever really outgrow the need for an unseen friend to watch over our worries while we sleep? We saw at the beginning that we lose our vivid childhood imagination as we age into adulthood. But perhaps that deep human desire, the need for a comforting presence to tell us not to trouble our heads, the need for peace of mind when the lights go out, maybe that never actually leaves us. Stevenson's unseen playmate might just be a child's version of the comfort and security we all spend our adult lives searching for. Thank you so much for joining me today for this explainer as we explored the enduring, comforting power of imagination. Keep learning, keep wondering, and I'll see you next time.